Free speech is increasingly imperiled as nations around the world turn to authoritarianism, which comes packaged as everything from iron-fisted dictatorial rule to coercive progressivism. One thing every brand of authoritarianism has in common is speech codes. Dissenting ideas dilute authority, so they must be suppressed. We should be thankful for the free speech that remains, and rise from our Thanksgiving tables prepared to fight for it. Our political speech is soggy with endless calls to fight for various rights, few of which bear any resemblance to what America's founders considered to be inalienable rights. One important clue to their thinking is that rights were seen as something an unjust government could take away from citizens by force, not something benevolent governments present to citizens as a gift. Authoritarian China ranks near the bottom of free speech studies, 176th out of 178 nations on the World Press Freedom Index compiled by Reporters Without Borders, 2 of the bottom 20 entries on the Freedom House Freedom in the World Index. Tibet is listed separately, and its lack of freedom is due to Chinese oppression, 130th out of 159 nations in the Cato Institute's Human Freedom Index. But the Chinese government does not represent itself as a jackbooted personality cult dictatorship like North Korea. The Chinese claim their gigantic censorship apparatus is vitally necessary to maintain public unity for the greater good of the people. Beijing derides complaints about its censorship policies as a hypocritical foreign plot to undermine national harmony and subvert the communist government. China's language is being adopted around the world with disturbing speed, in part because the Chinese use sharp power or economic leverage to force foreign companies to obey their speech codes. In 2018, China forced airlines to change their websites, Western companies to fire their employees, and giant clothing retailers to apologize because they sold T-shirts that contradicted China's territorial claims. China's grip on Hollywood also grew inexorably tighter. In a decaying free speech environment where using him and her to refer to biological males and females is suddenly controversial, the censorship demands of an activist Muslim minority will count for more than the relaxed attitudes of moderates who merely frown at blasphemy. Energy is the key factor now that free speech is highly negotiable, a social commodity rather than an inalienable right. The speech police are more energized and better organized than stalwart defenders of free speech. The list of dangerous ideas grows dangerously long. Instead of fighting for free expression, people want to get in the game with their own list of banned words, blacklisted speakers, and boycotted companies. Holding the other side to the new rules of political correctness seems like a more effective strategy than celebrating the principle of free speech while our adversaries roll over us with bulldozers.